Patrick MacNeil back here with you at the intermission. As throughout the year, we like to meet the people behind the scenes that are making the machine tick, so to speak. And joined now by Melissa MacNeil, whom we had on the broadcast last year as Cape Breton Eagles billet coordinator, a role Melissa still fulfills, but also has taken on other responsibilities with the organization. We'll let her describe it. Melissa, what would be your exact title up here in the Eagles office?
So for the last month or so, I've been the office and finance manager with the Eagles. I'm also still, like you said, fulfilling the role as the billet coordinator. It's been great so far. I love being an even bigger part with the Eagles this year.
A lot of coming and going in the office, people coming in and doing this and that. What does an average day look like for you in the office?
An average day, I haven't had one of those yet.
I was going to say, is there such a thing?
My day-to-day changes every single day, but I'm pretty much in the office 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, but you can also find me around on game nights, helping out here and there as well.
I think I've heard it said in a number of organizations that basically in every major junior team, everybody kind of does everything. Is that right?
Pretty much. I've worn a lot of hats so far, and I expect to wear a few more as the season goes on.
It also seems, too, both in Cape Breton and a lot of other teams around the Maritimes, change is inevitable. People coming and going in the office mid-season and whatnot. And, of course, people know Joey Haddad comes in, and Isabel's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the office as well. Just tell us what the vibe has been like in the office this year.
We have a great team up in our office. Everybody gets along really well, and I think we all mesh together, and I'm looking forward to a great season with them all.
Very good. Now, you mentioned before, you're still a billet coordinator. Bit different this year because last year, your first year in the job, you really got thrown into it because the Eagles had a whole bunch of new players. This year, I'm guessing, was a little bit more stable?
Yeah, it wasn't as crazy of a changing with new players coming and going this year, but it was still pretty busy. In August, we had quite a few new billets come on as well, which we always love to see. We're always looking for more.
You were assistant to Ashley Ryan when she was serving in that position, so you didn't come in totally unfamiliar. What are some of the circumstances that might cause somebody to drop out of billeting, and what circumstances cause people to jump into it?
Typically, to drop out of it, just changes in their day-to-day life. A lot of times we have young families. It's a lot of times their kids are getting more heavily involved in sporting activities. They're not going to be home as often, so they just can't keep up with having a young player living in their home. As for getting into it, a lot of it is word of mouth. Now that we do have a lot of young families, we do have a lot of interest from their friends going to school, telling them, I want to billet, I want to billet. So that's really good. And we're happy to have the conversation with who anybody wants to get involved.
As someone like yourself who's both billeted and has her own kids, do you find the dynamic a bit odd of almost parenting in reverse? So you start with a teenager and then have kids?
It is for sure. Yeah, I started out billeting an 18-year-old when I had an 18-month-old. So it's different for sure, but definitely a rewarding experience, and I loved every second of it.
I know a lot of it probably comes down to player requests, too, where you put them, certain guys might want to have pets, they might not want 2 kids, whatnot. One thing I find interesting is players living by themselves or living with another player. Is that more just luck of the draw, or is that a specific request thing, too?
Typically, it's luck of the draw. We've had very few requests where people do want to live with another player. The guys who live alone, the guys who live with somebody else in their home, everybody seems to be very happy. So it's kind of worked out for the best that the guys who are alone are happy and the guys who are with somebody else are really happy to be there too.
I've said it before, it's really amazing how it all comes together. And of course, you being a billet mother, you're a billet mother for Jacob Newcombe. Everybody's thinking of Jacob. And I know they were keeping a low profile, which is understandable. How much you've been in communication with him and how much you're cheering him on.
We're always going to be on Team Jacob. My whole family rep our Nuke 91 bracelets every day. But we're still in constant communication with him and his family, and he's getting along great, and we can't wait to have him back in Cape Breton soon. Well
said. And you mentioned that the bracelet, I think this is the first game I forgot to wear it, so shame on me. Now, last year I was asking about just being a parent and how that helps with billeting and how these experiences all come together. How much do you think being in the office and seeing everything here behind the scenes, how much do you think that helps the other job as a billet coordinator?
I think it's really helped for sure. Being here on the day-to-day, I'm in the know before Sly has a chance to call me to let me know what's changing on the billeting front. So people were surprised that I was still going to be billet coordinator once I took this position, but I think it's actually made my position as billet coordinator easier.
Well, as we said, people kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. What might be some requests that Sly or other people in hockey ops would have coming up and asking Melissa for? A little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything. Today I made some bag tags for the hockey players' gear bags. I've worn a lot of hats, and I am expecting to wear more.
Jill of all trades, yeah. I guess we could say. Last one I'll ask, Melissa, we talked a little bit of you being on the business side, but we always like to give the plug for how people get involved in billeting. If somebody wants to be involved, why should they do it and how do they do it?
It's an absolutely rewarding experience. It's great to be a part of this organization and the team. Not only with the Eagles team, but our billeting team as well, and all the billet families. It's a really great experience having them around. If you would like to take part in our billeting program, we do have a form on our website. Please head there and reach out to me anytime.
Very good. And I agree with what you're saying. Definitely rewarding experience. People form relationships that last a lifetime. We've seen that with players that have left and come back to Cape Breton. Well, thanks for letting us get to know you a bit, Melissa. As you said, you're doing a lot in the office, so let you get back to it. Thanks for this.
Thanks, Pat.
That is Melissa MacNeil. She is Offensive Finance Manager for Cape Breton Eagles, billet coordinator as well, and wearer of many hats. You're listening to the intermission of Celtic Kubota, Cape Breton Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.